Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Minquadale for this press conference to announce the recent and 5-year success of the Vacant Spaces to Livable Places program. Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely. By all means. Pause for applause. I'll do that. Program that started in 2017, just out of necessity, but I'll let the experts who are here joining us speak to all the incredible hard work and effort that went into this program. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Newcastle County Executive Matt Meyer.
Thank you, Ryan. Fun to be in a place where I get a few applauses, no boos. Well, it's good to see you. What a beautiful day in the city of Minquadale. What a beautiful, beautiful day in the metropolis. It's great to be here to really celebrate so many different groups, governmental offices coming together to do something special. You know, Delaware has a lot of government for a small state. And people often talk about different government levels, state, city, county working together. What people don't realize is that sometimes it's hard just to get different offices within county government to collaborate together. And so today, really, we wanted to do this in part just to celebrate county officials who have come together to make things like this possible. This is not the only one. There are over 700 properties we have now done like this on my watch, with the assistance of so many and the hard work of so many. That's right. Give them a round of applause. This starts by identifying a problem of delinquent housing stock in neighborhoods, not just here in Minquadale, but across the county, really the city of Wilmington, the state, and to some extent the country. A lot of times the story starts in 2008, 2009, with the economic downturn. Of course, it existed long before that, but the number of vacant delinquent properties really spiked during that time. Now, of course, we're in a different time when land is in such demand, when so many people are looking for housing, and it's really important that I know there are a lot of decision makers here, and I know there are a lot of doers here. It's really important that we move quicker than ever to get properties like this, move them from delinquency, from liability, to a potential asset for people. This property behind me, our story starts really with policing and code. This being a problem property for this neighborhood, something the neighborhood was embarrassed about, something that cost the public in terms of fire, police, paramedics, and code enforcement. Our code officer, Shane, I know, is here. Joe Day is here, Kenny Dunn, who all work with code, doing tremendous work. But sometimes they come, they identify code violations, and nothing's done. They can keep citing a property over and over again, but if there's not a responsible owner there to do anything about it, it doesn't make much difference for the community. We put in place a program called Vacant Spaces to Livable Places. To do it, we had to pass several pieces of state legislation. And we know that Representative Dorsey Walker, Representative Johnson, Senator Brown, and I don't know if Representative Cook is here. Oh, Representative Cook, the guy with the shades. You got new shades. Those are pretty fancy. The work you've done in going to the state legislature and getting things like this through seamlessly so that we can quickly move properties like this to sheriff's sale. Councilman Jay Street, who you'll hear from shortly, his leadership, not just in this neighborhood, but throughout the county, in taking care of people who don't always have a seat at the table, don't always have a voice, making sure that their neighborhoods are protected, has been vitally important. And of course, Sheriff Phillips, who makes sure that properties like this that have not been rehabbed across the county, making sure that we're being responsive and implementing the law. So I'm here to say thank you to everyone. I'm looking at many of the workers, many of the worker bees who've gotten out to make this possible. Probably none more critical than Duffy, who's here, you're going to hear from shortly. There's a problem we often hear about in our cities that, sure, you can take a delinquent property, move it through the process, and bring it to sheriff's sale. And I see Scott Wilcox and Iran and back, two of our lawyers who are critical to moving this stuff quickly to make sure it happens. But once it gets to sheriff's sale, what do you do with the ones that no one wants to buy? This property in particular, the roof had half collapsed. I was looking at the engineer's report this morning. No one wanted to buy that thing. And so it had all these liabilities on it. Nobody raised their hand at sheriff's sale. It's kind of like me when I was looking for a prom date, right? Nobody raised their hand. And so what do? And so what you got to get up off the floor and do something. That's what I did in high school. And so what we did is, thanks to our purchasing department, we run a bid. And we say, who out there wants to take this property for $0 and turn it into something? And Duffy's Hope raised their hand. They're raising their hand throughout this community and the city, and we really appreciate their leadership. And they're going to use this to solve a problem. I'll leave it to Carrie Casey and Duffy Samuels to talk a little bit about this. But listen, thank you so much. This it's easy to stand up and talk about turning delinquency and liability to an asset and something that's really a sign of beauty and pride in the community, but it does not happen with just about everyone here. Rich Hall, Char Patibanda, who Rich started the process, tremendous process in our land use department, and Char, who is here now leading our land use department. Of course, Maria Bynum at HUD as well. Give her a round of applause. She's often, I mean, the dollars from this, I'll tell you, came from multiple sources, but if you follow it to the source, Maria Bynum is ultimately there, given the okay in many cases. So thank you so much. Without further ado, let me bring out the architect, along with Andrea Almond, of this whole process, the guru of affordable housing, really in our state, Carrie Casey.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, County Executive Meyer. I was like, who's he talking about? But that's very, very, very kind. So I'm representing really the Vacant Housing Working Group. And we started back around 2017, I think Department of Community Services, we do a lot of development of affordable housing in blighted communities. And we're working in our silo, and over in land use, I'm looking at Joe Day, who was dealing with really thousands of vacant properties, and he was mowing not him personally, but he was mowing the grass, making these properties so they weren't unseemly eyesores, but it was putting all those fees on the property, but never being able to recoup it, and still having the property sit dormant and not doing anything with it. So, Joe and I applied for some assistance, just a very brief history, through the Center for Community Progress, which many of you know. We weren't awarded the technical assistance, but we decided that, this was worth us pursuing, and getting, County Executive Meyer, and really with having the County Executive's office represented through Andrea Almond, it really helped us bring just that kind of leadership to really push us forward. We met every Friday. We all had our different opinions. There was a little bit of back and forth at times, but we researched, we did best practice research, we worked with our state legislators to get state legislation passed. We almost overly communicated with County Council. I don't know if Councilman Street would say that, but we were literally at County Council every month explaining what we were planning on doing. And we were going to solely focus on vacant property. We weren't, that was really our focus, and it was putting the cost of the vacant property on the vacant property owner, and not the taxpayer. And then our second goal was to stabilize communities. So just really briefly, that our 5-year story tells that, as the county executive mentioned, a 59% reduction in vacant properties in Newcastle County. We collected a little over $3.4 million in delinquent fees and taxes, and that was largely due to some of that was due to the state legislation that allowed us to put more of those fees on the property. I get really in the weeds, so I'm not going to do that. But thanks to the state legislation, that really, really helped. The county was very nervous about having properties come back to us. This parcel came back to us. In the old days, we would have canceled the sale, which would have just been like useless work. It'd be like throwing the work we've done out the window. So we created this acquisition disposition strategy that really showed what we could do. This parcel We put the full cost of it at sheriff's sale, and then we, when no one purchased it, we brought it back into our portfolio. We discussed as a team, which was set up through executive order, and we said, let's put this out for bid. And, you know, thank goodness we had a bidder through Duffy Samuels to have this be a better use. So it was like a win-win. Some of the parcels we just sold on the open market, and they actually made the county some money. Some properties, like in Edgemore Gardens along the Route 9 corridor, Newcastle County kept, and we used our state money from Delaware State Housing Authority to develop them and put first-time home buyers in. So we really focused on every single piece of this process. And it is really exciting to see the results, but it really, I think, shows that breaking down like the silos of county government, working with the state, the folks that served on the teams, if you could just raise your hand if you served on a team, either a munition team or acquisition disposition team. Can you raise your hand? There you go, Andrea. Joe, there we go, thank you. Also, some of my colleagues like Stephanie Rizzo, who helps with all the disposition strategies. She's a huge piece of this. She's not here today. But just, you know, really was a collaborative effort. I'd also like to, Christian Willauer, who is the chair of the Housing Advisory Board for Newcastle County, but she's here. Hi, Christian. But she also really, we were kind of working this thing together and, you know, learning best practices from what she had learned through a lot of her research. So thank you for being here. So that gives you a small snapshot. We have collected $71,000 in abatement fees, vacant housing registration. We've collected close to $300,000. So it also brings money back to the county. It doesn't just sit on the vacant property. So, so thank you. And it is a celebration for us. We've all become very close, dear friends. We work, you know, really work together, and it's something that we're all very proud of. So that gives you a small snapshot, and if I would like, if they're willing, to invite, first I'd like to invite Senator Brown, if you'd like to come up and say a few words. And I'm gonna, yes.
Thanks, Karen.
Yeah. All right, good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see everybody here in Minquadale. I want to thank Carrie and the county executive for their partnership and how we in the state legislature could play a small role in how we build better neighborhoods in the 2nd Senatorial District that I get to share with my state representative, Frank Cook. And also want to thank my colleagues from the Delaware General Assembly and the Delaware Legislative Black Caucus for being here, State Representative Kendra Johnson and State Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker. It is our collective work together to create lifelong communities, and through a project like this, the county and the leadership of the county executive brings neighborhoods that are vacant, abandoned, blighted back to life, and partners with nonprofits like Duffy's Hope. I want to thank Duffy for his investment in this project. Duffy's Hope was the first nonprofit I ever served on the board of some 20 years ago, and Duffy introduced me to a lot of people and things in our community that has allowed me to serve in public service, as he's not only giving back to the children of our city, but also his service to the county and ultimately the state of Delaware. So I'm here to say thank you to the county, but especially to say congratulations to Duffy on this great work.
Thank you, Senator Brown. One of our dear friends that's always with us on the Route 9 corridor. So Representative Cook, would you like to come up and say a few words? Former county colleague with us. Yes.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
This is what we talk about when we work collaboratively together, when you have the state, the county, and then you come out with this product. Also want to thank Dave Tricia and the Civic Association of Minquadale, the fire department. Especially want to thank working civic associations. As you know, in today's world, a lot of them are not working right now. I can say in Minquadale, it's working. In Dunleith, it's working. This whole Route 9 corridor, I have it all the way up to the Holloway Center. It's working. And this is what we do. When you work together, like you have Mr. Jarman here from Garfield Park and OV Gardens, a neighbor here that has been a stellar in civic associations, I think, since I was riding a horse with the police department. And then we have Jay Street. I don't need to say no more than that. Just his name shakes up this ground. But we're talking about working together and getting things done. And then if you want to talk about the Samuels, his people raised me in Dunleavy. So we have a relationship. But the thing about you have a relationship with everybody. And it takes the sheriff's department, the police department, the fire department, civic associations. It's not about all the time the representatives to represent the district, because it takes the people to make something like this proven. You can see it, feel it, and touch it right here that it works. We just have to be patient and then knowing how it works when we peel the onion and that we can work together. So thank you, Brother Duffy. Here you go. You was asking for it, you wanted it, and here it is. So thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you. So it's so wonderful to have all our state partners here. So was hoping, Representative Johnson, would you like to say a few words? Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm really happy that Senator Brown and Representative Cook spoke first, because this is their district and not mine, and I didn't want any problems, okay? No problems. On top of that, everything I was going to say, they already said. So what I will say is this. What happens when local, state, federal all work together for the greater good of the people is right behind us. The magic, Duffy, and the life changes that are going to occur inside of these walls, it's going to be remarkable. So we should all be so very happy and knowing that this is a beautiful model that we need to continue on and lift people up. Housing stability is the very first thing you need as you work towards self-actualization. I'm a big nerd. I love Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And Maslow's hierarchy of needs speaks to that. If I don't have a home, I can never get to the next step. So Duffy, thank you for your vision. Partners, thank you all for supporting this initiative. And I look forward to hearing the wonderful stories that will happen in these women's lives as a result. Delaware is amazing. Let's keep it going, y'all.
Thank you. From a fellow nerd, thank you. I love that stuff. As you could see, when I just talked for 20 minutes about all our statistics, but anyway. Lastly, someone that we also know is a big supporter of housing and works really, really hard at the state legislature to try to pass important bills that help those that are the most vulnerable in our state. If she wouldn't mind, Representative Dorsey Walker. Here she goes. I can hold your fan for you. Okay.
I just took the fan.
I just took the fan.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
A special thank you to County Exec, to Councilman Jay Street, who helped my parents raise me, so I always have to shout him out. Senator Brown and Representative Cook, as well as the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus, Kendra Johnson, and to all the wonderful people who are here. It is important that we all work together. Ms. Carey, she's such an amazing human being as it pertains to housing and looking out for those who are housing insecure. And to me, I feel like I'm at church because my church members are here. Sister Bynum and Mr. Jarman, Brother Jarman. But most importantly, this is what I thought about as I was sitting there. All things work together for the good of them who are called according to his purpose. And when I look at Duffy Samuels, you are such a blessing and have been for decades to the city of Wilmington, to the county, to the state. And I'd just like to say congratulations and God bless you and keep you.
Thank you. Okay, last but not least, I would like to invite our Councilman, Jay Street, to come and say a few words. This is his district, but he is also, thank goodness for all of us in Community Services, the co-chair of the Newcastle County Community Services Committee. So he is our leader within the department and mentor to all of us. So I'm going to invite him up. We're glad he's here. Councilman Jay Street.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak this morning. Brother Duffy, I think I had some black hair left when people were talking about the need to do something for 18-year-olds who were coming out of foster care. You, Paul Calistro, and others worked on it. Here we are. Some people talked about it. You just went on and did it. I want to thank you for everything that you do in this community. I want to thank you for this project especially. We had a little skirmish, not a fight, but we won. And if it turned into a fight, we would have won that too. Those of you who know me and how I do things, I don't do events like this. I've always said if I got to do events like this to get reelected, I don't really want to be reelected. But sometimes you got to get up in the morning and look in the mirror and say to yourself, right is right and wrong is wrong. And those 700 vacant properties, those houses that she talked about, most of them in my council district, on the Route 9 corridor and within the city of Wilmington. This man, our county executive, Matt Meyer, has literally put millions of dollars in the council district 10. And the way I've treated him, most county executives, most mayors would say, give him nothing. Let him have nothing. Don't put anything in his district. But he looked beyond me and my big mouth and raising hell all the time and not being fair and said, I'm going to do right by the people. So the fact of the matter is, all the hell I've raised publicly is an obligation to apologize publicly, something I don't ordinarily do. But you treated me in my district with great fairness. I haven't treated you fair. And going forward, I'm going to do what I can to drop back on some of my hair trigger tempered and find a way to resolve some of the problems behind closed doors. And did I get that right? There's cameras, I'm sure you'll get copies. But at the end of the day, I appreciate everything that you've done, and very seldom do I apologize, but when you're right, you're right. When you're wrong, you're wrong. And finally, these two guys, I don't care what nobody says, we're a hell of a team. We agree to disagree. You'll never see us in conflict with each other publicly, and we get things done. And I did say finally, but finally, the fireman back there. I'm parked down there on the corner. I see him turn the corner. You parked your car on the corner. You didn't see the fire truck coming, Mr. Jarman. I said, there's no way in hell he's getting past that car. He slowed down. He looked out the window, and he came right on through. He can drive now. He can drive. So, you know, thank you for what you do every day and driving to protect the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Street. So our last, I just wanted to see, call up Duffy, if he's willing. But before I do, I just this is like a preview, by the way. The house is not 100% done, and we are going to have an extravaganza ribbon cutting, probably in September, right? To celebrate the opening of this house, because it's that important to us at the county. So I would like to see if Duffy would like to come up to say a few words. I also wanted to say that it truly takes a village, because we've used home program funds through HUD, thank you, Maria, to fund this property. So we really have, used every facet of government, public government, to fund this project, and we're really excited for it to come to a ribbon cutting. So you all have to come back. Promise me I'll come back in September for a ribbon cutting, because, yeah. Right? Okay, good. All right. Okay, Duffy.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. First of all, I just want to thank the county exec, Matt Myers, for, all his support in this effort right here with the vacant property, just giving us an opportunity to create what's behind us. As I go back and I reflect, everybody gives me a lot of credit with this vision, but the vision wasn't mine. The vision was my wife's vision, because she worked working with foster kids, and she had a vision of one day creating something like this. So what I did was, I said, let's put it together on paper and go for it. And I thought it was a long shot, didn't think that we'll be able to get a property. I put, zero, because I didn't have no money. And come back to see that they approved it, and we got the land, and we started, the process. And so I would like to thank my wife, who's in the back, for her vision, for making this happen. Also, like Jay said, we had a little minor, almost setback, but we got past it. And like I said to the committee, I'm here to help out in the community, not hurt the community. I'm here to be a part of this asset to the community. So it does take a village to make things like this happen. So I'm willing, and I'm open arms and open door policy to work with everyone in this community. And I would just like to say thank you to, Senator Brown, Representative Cook, Representative Dorsey, Representative Johnson, for all their support. They all said some good things about me. I don't know how much of it's true, but but thank you. I appreciate it, and it's good to see Mr. Bonds here. So he's been a supporter, and like I said, my wife, Miss Redden Kim, who's been helping us with the project, Chaz. So I want to thank them for their vision and helping me get to this point. And as you see, the house behind us is going to be for 4 young ladies aging out of foster care. So we started off small. We're starting small with 4 young ladies aged 18 aging out of foster care. And they'll be housed here, and they'll be learning how to independent living. If they don't have a high school diploma, we want to help them get their high school diploma. We have a partnership with Wilmington University, helping them go to school for free. We also have, when we're going to mental health, we have a therapist on staff, which is my wife. We also have, jobs that we're going to partner with to corporations, companies, to help them with job readiness. So this is a one-stop shop right here. So we're gonna bring them in, and they might be hopeless, but we're gonna make them hopeful once they live here. So with that, I want to thank everybody for your time. I appreciate it. And like Carrie said, also I want to thank Carrie and Vince Garlic for really, all their support, making sure everything was done right, and just making sure that we got to this point. So again, thank you, Carrie. And Vince is not here. In his absence, I want to say thank you, Vincent. I really appreciate you. But hopefully everyone can come back in September. We're still working on the dates for September for our ribbon cutting. So again, thanks everybody. I appreciate you. Have a good evening.
I'm capable. Folks, if we would like to, real quick, this program, I think it was mentioned, it has generated $3.4 million in revenue back to Newcastle County in fines, but in taxes, back taxes, right? Okay. But 1.7 million of those dollars will be going back to our Newcastle County school districts. So that's 1.7 to Brandywine, Christina, Red Clay, Votech. Who did I forget? Colonial. I always forget one. But right now we could have Mr. Samuels, Carey, and anybody else who wants to come up here. Matt's going to sign the check. This is not a real check, so don't anybody try to mobile deposit it. It's not going to work. Those numbers are there. Those are Easter egg numbers. They won't work. Please, Councilman Street, please, Lee, everybody can come on up and grab the check.
We'll see if it works.
3, 2, 1, go ahead. There you go. Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Drive safe.